Welcome everybody to Wick Live. I am Kayla Dan here with my co-host Dan Selke, and we are both wearing our fall maroon today.
I love fall maroon.
So do I. It's on my toes as well.
It's just on my shirt, but I do like the color a lot. I think it really works for fall.
It does. It's literally my favorite fall color to wear.
No, you look good in it. I look good in it. Thanks, everybody. Anyway, we're here to talk about Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, the latest news, latest updates, and later to go over a new chapter of A Game of Thrones with A Song of Dan and Josh. But first, Kayla, I gotta ask you a question. We're getting more and more information about Game of Thrones Season 8 filming is going to go up really, really quick, which might be delayed, by the way, by Hurricane Ophelia, which is attacking the British Isles at the moment.
Really?
Oh yeah, it actually kind of moved past it, but it was ravaging Northern Ireland where they shoot a lot of their stuff for a bit.
Bad that I didn't know that hurricanes happen anywhere other than the U.S.
Yes, I think so, but that's another problem for another time.
Okay. You don't ever hear about them that much, right?
I guess not. I mean, we shouldn't talk about this too much. I heard about like monsoons and things like that.
Tsunamis.
Which are kind of the same family. We shouldn't talk about it too long or we'll start to sound really ignorant.
It's very true.
The point is, Hurricane Ophelia, now Storm Ophelia, attacked Northern Ireland a bit where they film. It delayed some set building, so that we're not sure what that'll do. But it's bad timing, obviously.
Yeah.
But the thing I want to talk to you about is that we keep getting news of what kind of security measures they're putting in place to protect the tender ears of people who might find out spoilers. So get this, Kayla. Nicholas Coster-Waldau, who plays Jaime Lannister, gave an interview on a Scandinavian talk show called Skavlan and said, I just want your reaction to this.
Okay.
That they no longer get scripts. They're going to have their lines fed to them through earpieces on set.
You are lying.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the things you can take away from it.
This cannot be real.
It can't be real.
Was he joking?
It didn't sound like it. I mean, it's entirely possible he was just having fun. He totally could have.
Yes, Game of Thrones is off their rocker.
But okay, just listen to it. Filming multiple endings, building giant walls around the sets, filming fake scenes, kill people off. Is it ridiculous that they would do something like that?
It's a TV show. Yes, it's ridiculous. Like, I get it's the biggest show on television, but like, I can't imagine being that crazy and caring that much to go to great lengths to.
No, neither can I. And again, it's so out there. I think he might have just been having fun.
I hope so.
But I
that
mean,
would be ridiculous.
So okay, you are don't give them scripts and feed them lines through their earpiece.
No. Has any show done that before? Like,
hi, Julie. How you doing? I've never heard of it. She said hi.
Hi, Julie. What'd you do for your birthday?
Ooh, Dan needs a haircut. That wasn't even from a comment. That was just from winteriscoming.net. Do I need a haircut? Do I need a haircut? Everybody can weigh in on that. I am planning to get one soon.
Julie said you need a haircut, Dan.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Your hair's getting long, Dan. Time for a trim. Yeah, you're right.
I think you're just letting it flow today.
No, I keep on putting it off because I keep having things to do. I usually go on Saturdays. This is neither here nor there. But I keep not having a free day to go. But soon.
Okay.
Not this weekend either, because I'll be gone. But maybe once it gets to it'll be cut soon. Just don't worry.
I think it looks great.
Thank you. Maybe I'll keep it.
Okay.
Anyway, so you are not giving
crazy security measures, yes.
I mean, I think I agree with you. If they really did that, don't you think it would have like a detrimental effect on the show? Because they wouldn't know their lines ahead of time and couldn't study them?
I don't think it would come across the same way.
No, you'd think that would actually, like, if you're so into preventing spoilers that you're actually hurting.
Hard to act when the line is being fed through an earpiece. Like, I don't think it would be as genuine.
Which again, it's probably not true, but it is a fun thing to talk about. And the thing I love about it is that even if it's not true, they've done such crazy things that I'm willing to entertain the possibility that it might be maybe.
Throwing people off with fake scripts, okay. The earpiece thing, not okay. No.
See, Sam Bradburn says let it grow, so.
How long can you get your hair, I wonder?
I've never grown it. I've never been a long hair guy.
Go Dothraki on us, Dan.
I think I should just have it like down to beneath my shoulder blades. I could try it. That would. I'd have to change my lifestyle. Although some people here do seem to think that it's possible, like Kyle Foster and Renee Devine Tracy, whatever they need to do to prevent spoilers, they should do. I think that's a little excessive.
I think it's very excessive.
But we'll have to...
The locked document computer deal, okay.
Sure. We'll have to watch and see what happens.
I draw the line at earpieces.
Gotcha. Me too. I'm with you.
Are you?
Anyway, yes. In other production news, there is a new character from the books who has been cast for Game of Thrones. His name is actor Mark Rissman. You can see him here in The Last Kingdom Season 2, looking pretty much like he's ready for it already, more or less.
He looks like Tormund.
He does look like Tormund in that little beard thing. He'll be playing a character from the books named, this is kind of a spoiler, so not a huge one, but if you don't want to know, plug your ears, close your eyes, and just do that for a couple of minutes. He'll be playing Harry Strickland, known as Homeless Harry Strickland, who is from the A Song of Ice and Fire books. He's a member of the Golden Company. Kayla, do you remember what the Golden Company is doing right now on the show?
I don't.
Gotcha. The Golden Company is a company of mercenaries from over on Essos, which will be over here on our map.
Yes.
That Cersei has hired to ferry them over the Narrow Sea so they can work for her and, beat up her enemies. And he is an officer in that company. What's interesting about it is that in the books, oh, yes.
We're past the books in the show, right?
We are.
So, I don't get how he comes in.
I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
We are past the books. And Julie says Kayla Dan. Be cool for the hair.
Oh,
Get
Kayla
it?
Dan.
Kayla
I
Dan.
get it.
Kayla Dano. That could work. We are past the books, but the Golden Company plays a much bigger part in the books. We've been with them over on Essos. We've been embedded in their group.
Okay.
Here we've heard of them a couple of times, and they're just going to come on over to Westeros already formed.
So he's existed, just not on the show.
Yes. It's interesting that they, again, it's one of those little adaptation quirks that this is a thread that has a fairly big part in the books, and it's not that they're getting rid of it, they're just going to do way less of it, and they'll just kind of be here without us getting to know them inside and out first.
Okay.
Which was going to happen. It's kind of cool because, I'd kind of assumed if anybody out there reads the books, they just cut this bit. I did not think they'd have Golden Company characters show up, but apparently they've kind of taken the long way around and come to this plot, and it's going to show up anyway. Look at that. How that happens.
Are there other characters in the books that haven't made their way onto the show?
Kayla.
Oh.
There are,
A lot?
Would I say hundreds, maybe?
Oh, wow.
There's a lot. These books are very thick and very long. Yeah, there are a lot of characters who haven't been on there. Maybe not hundreds, definitely over 100.
So they just picked the main ones?
Oh yeah, they picked the big ones.
Okay.
Just in the books, Daenerys has
Have you done a story on that? That'd be good for WickNet.
That's one of the reasons it's a profitable area to look into and report on stuff, because there's just so much there. Daenerys has a helper named Strong Belwas, who is a fat eunuch warrior who loves liver and onions and slices horses for her in one battle. Which just it's the enemy horse. It's charging toward him.
Cover your ears, PETA.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, you can probably uncover your ears now. People who were covering them before. There are a lot of folk who aren't there.
Thing to flash on the screen.
I'd love that. That's a good idea.
Carm, get on top of that.
Anyway, Harry Strickland coming on in season 6 should be pretty interesting, and you wonder who else is going to be there. Kieran Convoy, Lady Stoneheart was a big no from the books, but why? Because it would have been too much Kieran Convoy, is my opinion. I'm happy she didn't show up. And and Julie Davies loves that they're introducing other characters from the books. I do too, Julie. Even this late in the game, we still have room for more people.
That's fun.
Anyway, one more thing we're going to hit. There are some important events happening in the lives of the cast members we can chat about briefly.
Yes.
Start with a somber thing. We've been talking about over the past couple of weeks the scandal with Harvey Weinstein, Miramax producer, Weinstein Company producer in Hollywood, being accused by, again, dozens of actresses of sexually assaulting them over the years, over the past 30 years. Oh, absolutely. And Lena Headey, who plays Cersei, came forward with her own story, put it on Twitter, got thousands of retweets. Basically, she said that he kind of came on to her at Cannes, the film festival, back in 2005, and she laughed it off at the time, like, you're my dad's age and stuff like that. And just didn't really think anything of it. And then years later in LA, they were at breakfast together, and he asked her to come to his room to give her a script. And then on the way up, it just kind of got like a creepy vibe. And she said, I really do just want a script, just to clarify. And then she had a bunch of tweets. This was the last one. He got angry, room key wouldn't work. He kind of took her by the arm, took her back to the car, and then said, don't tell anybody, don't tell your manager, not your agent, and sent her on her way.
Wow.
So, we've discussed this on Screensided, just the length of time this went on and what can be done about it. And I think what we came to there was just the more people who come forward, the better. Mm-hmm. At the very least.
Voicing it helps.
Yeah.
Making people aware that this is a thing that's happening and it's not okay.
Yeah, and that you have people who will support you if you do come forward.
Mm-hmm. And putting those people in power, out of power,
right,
through this.
And it won't happen unless people actually come forward and say, and they might not come forward unless they know they're not going to be demonized, which I think is a big fear a lot of them have. So it's unfortunate, but it's good that she came forward with it, and we'll see where that goes from there.
Crazy.
In happier news.
Okay. I like this story.
Go ahead.
We have another engagement on Game of Thrones.
It's almost like a competition.
Is it?
I think it was a malicious engagement to cut in on Kit Harington and Rose Leslie's happiness. Sophie
Turner is engaged to Joe Jonas.
Nice.
How fun. I love this.
Are you a Jonas Brothers fan from back in the day at all?
I was a little older than when they made it big. I was big into Hanson. So if this was like Zach Hanson marrying Sophie, I'd be losing it right now.
Would you be upset?
No, but I'm very fully aware of the Jonas Brothers, and I like them as a couple. They've been dating for how long?
Yeah, for a while. I don't know how long, like over a year, I think.
Yeah, it's been, a while.
Yeah, it's cute. And they put out like
I didn't know they were that serious. I just thought they were dating.
Yeah, neither did I. She's like 20, he's like 28. That's okay, right? That's okay, right?
8? Oh, yeah, I can't really talk on that, Dan.
Right.
Age is just a number.
It's one of those things we can't talk about too much. I don't know.
I don't see age as an issue.
And also, that's not that bad. The older you get, the less important an age gap is. That's not that huge of an age gap.
When I was in high school, I dated a guy 6 years older than me. But my parents couldn't say anything because they're 6 years apart.
There you go. So, good for Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Mark Harm doesn't think something about this. Yes, congrats, Sophie Turner. Also, going back to sad note for a minute. Do
you think they're going to have their weddings on the same day? So
I hope so. Yes, that's what I do. Make
Game
your
of Thrones
friends and your colleagues choose.
Wedding?
Yeah.
Game of weddings.
Game of weddings, exactly. Maybe they would turn into a red wedding, both of them.
Oh no!
Just a horrible, horrible thing.
How do we get you invited to one? Give us the lowdown.
Okay, here, look. If Kit Harington, Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner, or Rose Leslie are watching, please invite me to your wedding. I will cover it lovingly. And
how about you go to Kit's and I'll go to Sophie's?
There you go.
Because there'll probably be more celebrities at that one that I'll be interested in.
Probably right. And yeah, we'll cover it lovingly. We won't mooch too much of the food. We're great dancers, I'm assuming. And we'll just be a lot of fun. So consider that. Dan Selke and Kayla Dan. We have Twitter handles, I'm sure.
Yep.
Anyway, finally, on a sadder note, Roy Dotrice, who is an actor who's been associated with Game of Thrones for a long time. He played Pyromancer Helene Season 2. He's the guy who made the wildfire that used to blow up Sansa's ship. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
And more importantly, as importantly, he recorded the audiobooks for every single A Song of Ice and Fire book yet released. He's one of those actors who has can you imagine?
No, I can't actually.
And again, it goes back to that huge character thing I said. He actually got in the Guinness Book of World Records for voicing the highest number of different characters for reading this book. 224 different character voices.
I believe it.
For one thing.
That's insane. He did it for all the books?
All the books.
Did it take him 10 years?
No. I think you'll find that if you just start reading, it goes pretty fast.
Remember when you tried getting me to read Harry Potter last year?
I did. I do, yes.
I made it through 6 chapters. Literally, I started a book I'm reading now 3 months ago. And I need to focus my time to read and turn everything else off.
We're getting a little off track here. The point is that Roy Dotrice, this person, this actor, he's died at age 94.
That's
you know, in his house in England, surrounded by his family. I mean, 94. Of course, it's sad. And rest in peace, Roy Dotrice.
He lived a long life.
He lived a long life. He won Tonys or a Tony. Hugely respected actor. He's one of those guys, kind of like Morgan Freeman, who has like one of those voices that you just is like rich and timbrous and
you know it the
like
minute
that,
they say it in one word.
Which makes him a great for a book on tape guy.
Yeah,
obviously,
definitely.
because it's a voice you want to listen to. Maybe you should listen to the books on tape.
Maybe I should do that.
Why
Maybe
not?
I would like that better.
It's a possibility. And
wait, so when was the last time we saw him on the show?
Oh, season 2, quite a long time
Okay.
ago. He's been on the show for a while, but he's been a part of. He was actually originally cast to play Archer, Maester Pycelle, who was the big, long, bearded, scholarly guy in King's Landing, but he had to back up due to health concerns.
Gotcha.
So he's been around for the show for a long time, and he'll be missed. So R.I.P. Roy Dotrice.
R.I.P. Roy.
Anyway, now Kayla, we're gonna segue into our weekly segment, A Song of Dan and Josh, where Josh Hill and I talk about a chapter from A Game of Thrones, bit by bit, analyzing, looking into it, and finding what we can find. Kayla, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Dan. I'll see you guys next week.
For a possible Halloween episode.
Yes.
All right.
Josh Hill, hi, how are you?
Yeah. I am good because I just read the Daenerys chapter.
That's right, we just read together.
Big time.
It's what?
It's big time.
It's big, it's getting interesting.
Yeah.
We just read Daenerys 1 from Game of Thrones, the first Daenerys Targaryen chapter. You know, kind of important character. So Josh, anything stand out to you from this chapter?
Yeah, actually a lot of stuff stood out to me in
Go
this
ahead,
chapter.
hit me.
I really liked how we seem to be, again, this goes back to I've seen the show, so I know where she
Right.
goes.
Oh, just to clarify, so if you haven't been with us, I've read the books and seen the show. Josh, you've only seen the show but have not read the books. Your
Correct.
first time reading the books.
Yes.
So again, hit me.
Yeah, so I know where she goes as far as her progression as a character. And I liked that we
Sam
saw...
says hi.
Oh, hi Sam. And Julie. I want to get on the Julie Davies love.
Yeah.
This is good. She's very popular around the office outside of Winter is Coming, the celebrity. I liked how we saw little glimpses of strength. Like, she was described as being smart. Like, she was definitely what she was in the show. Like, timid and very closed off. But I like that we saw little glimpses of maybe she can be more. And I also liked...
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't even know how to say her brother's name.
Viserys. Viserys. Like about that, like it's like the way that you know, she's very shy, she's very kind of a wallflowery type at this point, but we're in her head, so we know that she does not trust their host, right, Elena Patis, whereas her brother is like gobbling up everything he says.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh yeah, the Westeros people, they're totally rooting for you back home. And he's like, oh yeah, I bet they are. And she's just thinking, no, that's something doesn't add up there. So yeah, I like that too, that they're given hints that she has more ability than she's showing.
Yeah, and I also had down here that she was, again, because it's from her perspective, she seemed very relatable right from the start.
How
Like,
so?
just the way that she was being described and the way that she was taking in the world around her, I was like, oh yeah, like she was, kind of like with the Catelyn's chapter, where we're learning all of this exposition through this one chapter, because there's a lot of world building in this chapter.
There is. I mean, again, there's world building all over the place, and
Yeah.
which makes sense. But I'd forgotten how dense it got.
It's like a first mention of X, Y, and
Tons
Z.
of stuff.
It's like, yeah, Dorne, your favorite place, as I remember.
No one's favorite place. Like,
Bravos was mentioned. Yeah, so just
you got a red priest for mention. That's
Red
Melisandre's
priests were
order.
mentioned.
They like
Yep.
to lighten their night fires, that kind of thing. Let's see. Pentos. Well, Pentos is. Slaves were mentioned.
Yeah.
Like the notion of slavery is brought in here, which of course we know for Daenerys will end up being huge.
Oh, yeah.
And she'll go and free the slaves. That's her whole crusade kind of thing. And it's right here.
and she's basically getting like pawned off by her brother, just like in the show.
Right.
To try to get the Dothraki on their side. So
Did you think it was an accurate kind of book to show conversion here?
I imagined I wrote in my notes that her brother was much better looking on the show than I imagined him from his
Oh, yeah?
description. I was imagining him being more ghoulish because they describe him as gaunt and kind of all this.
Yeah, I actually wrote on that line because it stuck out to me too. He was a gaunt young man with nervous hands and a feverish look in his pale lilac eyes. I thought it was interesting for a couple of reasons. First of all, he didn't give us like a huge long description, which he can do sometimes. It was a quick thing, but it kind of that's everything you need to know about him.
Yeah.
Like I can totally see him with that line. The nervous hands, pale eyes, gaunt, like just not flattering adjectives.
And I liked that it was minimal description. And I guess this maybe goes against what I'm about to say because in the first chapter the prologue, he was very eloquent with describing all of the
clothes and stuff.
But I feel like from what I learned about her brother and what I know from him on the show, he's very much a surface level character. His motivations are very clear, and he wasn't a deep character to me in the show.
I mean, no.
Describing him in such like minimalist terms it's basically not giving him depth as far as the description is concerned. And I thought that was interesting just because I immediately was like, oh yeah, this guy's important, but I'm not really into him. I'm not invested in him as much as I am Daenerys or some of these other characters.
Well, that's a clue that, they're not going to describe him as much as Daenerys, so you know it's important.
Yeah.
About depth, I will say I was kind of struck when I reread this. I felt a little worse for him than I did before.
Yeah.
Because they described what her life's been like. Like, kind of running from city to city, and now he's old enough to actually remember Westeros.
Yeah.
And like it said, he said it's our land, like a prayer is what it said, like a little prayer. And that there's some pining going on with him, I think. And I think if you try really hard, you can get to a place where you feel a little bad for Viserys, who's this. I mean, yeah, he's obviously a bit of a monster. He does some terrible things here, but I picked up that he was yearning to go back home, to a home he really feels was taken away from him.
Yeah.
And he was the older brother. He had to be the one in charge after their protector died and kind of take her from place to place to place. And again, it said that they all laughed at him behind closed doors and he had to know it. And she has, the luxury of not having to be the point man on this stuff and be the one humiliated.
Yeah.
So actually, I will say, I felt a little worse for Viserys. Again, doesn't excuse him, but this time around, I felt a little worse for his situation, and he must have had to eat some crap, a lot of it, as he went on this journey.
Yeah, I can see that. I more or less, I didn't feel bad for him. I
don't feel bad for him either.
Right, but I see what you're saying. To me, I saw that as I better understood his motivations. Because on the show, it seems like he's more venomous on the show, is where it's like, this is very much, he's the bad guy, he's doing this very bad thing.
And I did get some venomous here too.
Yeah, but I did get a little bit of an understanding of why he wants to do this. Again, it doesn't excuse it, but I was like, all right, at least I see why he's selling his sister off like this. It's not, he's just doing it for his own cause. It's, but then I went back to not feeling bad for him or sympathizing with him, because I was like, oh, so you've been taking your sister from all of these places, being her surrogate protector, and now you're just going to sell her off like that? So then I was like, all right, this guy.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important to qualify. You can feel empathetic with someone or a character and still condemn them. Like you're still a terrible person.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like Cersei, but she needs to go down.
Yeah.
Like that's and I think that's a thing that you can do if you're reading a story.
Yeah.
And obviously, he has some terrible things, like the line from the show about I'd let the entire Khalasar and all his horses have sex with you if me and you can go home. There's also a really creepy, which I guess but becomes a thing throughout the shows. We talk about it. Sexual aspect of their relationship.
Yeah.
There's the bit where he squeezes her nipple, and then it says he gently caresses her hair. And it's just creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely got the creepy vibes off of that, which again swung me back into the being empathetic, but not totally.
No.
I was like, all right, bud.
That's classic abuse stuff too. You are mean to somebody and then you take it back with oh, you're so pretty. That's an abusive relationship right there. It also hints at incest, which I was wondering when I saw, because we don't know about the whole Lannister twin thing yet. Game of Thrones, of any popular story today, has to have more incest than any other popular tale going on.
I would say that that's accurate.
And this might be like priming us for it a bit.
Yeah, I picked up on those tones a little bit, but again, I think that's maybe just because I've seen the show.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we all
of
know.
course, incest in Westeros. What else is new? So,
Of course, or Essos, the whole world
Or
over.
Essos.
Gross.
I did like that we went to another continent too here, as far as world building is concerned. Like I knew,
Oh, of course.
I knew it was in a different part, but I was interested in seeing how that they would like describe that as far as like they're laying the land very much because I mean I know that King's Landing's in the south, but
Of Westeros, yeah.
of Westeros, but then it doesn't really describe like geographically where everything, like where the port is as far as like where this place they're at is and up north and stuff. And as we know, like the geography of these people traveling is very important because in the show it's like
Hugely
they're in
important,
King's Landing and then they're in the north and it's just like that. They don't have planes in Westeros.
No.
But
I mean, well, on the show, I think that they try to get around that by having the map like every single episode.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why it's so important. Like you go from place to place to place to place. But I mean, yeah, people have complained about the later seasons kind of fast traveling around. I can assure you, Josh, for better or worse, in the books that does not happen. They will take their sweet time getting from place to place, and you will know the geography. I mean, I'm not sure if you checked it out, or I'm not sure if your copy has it, but they have like little fantasy maps in here.
yeah, I was looking at that.
Every good fantasy book has to have one. You got to have your little fantasy map from Lord of the Rings on down.
Oh man.
They always have their stuff.
There you go.
All right, what else in the Daenerys chapter? Anything else stick out to you, Josh?
No, I like you mentioned the Red Priest, because that was always something that was a little wishy-washy for me on the show. Like I got Melisandre was one,
Right.
and then I forget his name, the one that just spoiler alert, died on
Thoros
the
of
show.
Myr,
Yeah. So
Thoros.
the Red Priest, yeah, and then I like that mythology has been set up. And again, we talked about this in the other episode about how it's just the magic is there. It's not necessarily this, or the things. There's some things that are just there. And
Right.
It's not this huge exposition like, oh my gosh, and the Red Priestess. It's just like, yeah, she could hear him singing in the background, and then this other
And that's
stuff.
it. And then, I mean, again, it's one of those things where when Melisandre does show up in the second book, I don't think he would even think about this bit. But if you go back, you see that it's been laid anyway. Also, the Unsullied made an appearance here too.
Yep.
It was one of the guards was getting him off the palanquin. Never know how to say that. That like thing you carry and the slaves. And like an Unsullied guard, that's neat. And of course you'd see that, and then and they won't show back up for 2 books now. But when you do, the seed was laid here, which is again is just goes to show how careful this dude was when thinking about this stuff.
Good old George R.R. Martin.
George R. Martin.
Also, you were speaking about the books with Kayla, and I just want to say Harry Strickland is like the lamest Westeros name you can come. Everybody's
It
got
is a
these
little
grand
odd.
names. It's like here's Daenerys and Cersei, and here's Harry and John. But even John's like Jon. It's not like John Denver. But here's Harry Strickland.
It is
Strickland
definitely
propane.
a
It's
little
like
more of the kind of casual naming thing we got going on.
Homeless Harry.
Although I will say this too, he's very careful with names. He has a big thing with like the people in the north all have like John and Ned and Bran and Robb and like with simple names, and then you get a little further south and it's
Majestic.
Tyrion and Jaime and Cersei and Edmure and a little more complicated. And then Daenerys' whole family from the east have like these weird like vowel mashups. It's Viserys with Y's in them and Daenerys and Rhaegar and all that crap. So he does think about it. And I guess Harry is, I guess would fall in the middle there somewhere.
Waiting for Todd. When's Todd gonna show up? Todd and Harry running the Golden Company. The Golden Company.
Yes, they're all very, very badass. All right, anything else?
No, I mean it was just the one chapter, and
Yeah, it was fun stuff.
Kind of looked a little bit ahead at the next chapter is Ned, right?
Yeah, I think for next week, assuming we're not drunk in Halloween costumes, we should read the first Ned chapter, Ned 2, and then the first Jon Snow chapter.
Ooh.
Getting to know the bastard of Winterfell. Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All right, so next week we're back here at 4:30
Is anybody
Central
reading
Standard
along
Time.
with us?
Oh yeah, I can ask that. Is anybody reading along with us? Reading along with the Song of Dan and Josh?
I know Julie is. Julie's got to be reading.
Getting
along.
into it. We can't assume what Julie does.
Julie is on top of the Game of Thrones-ness. If there is a Game of Thrones thing happening, I know Julie's probably the first one to do it.
Sure. Yeah, she likes the way the clothing and jewelry are described in such depth. Which, yeah, I mean, they did describe Daenerys. Again, it's Daenerys' gown that she was in, which is important. I mean, like the clothes you wear, he does go into it, but it's important because, again, she's being presented to Khal Drogo, so what she wears is important. Like the thought goes into it, and I do like that they explore those dimensions. Also, Jorah got the first appearance.
Good old Jorah.
He's balding in this one.
Poor Jorah.
Okay, real quick, some minor book to show differences they made. Purple eyes on the Targaryens.
Yes, the eyes. Why didn't they do that on the show? That would have been
tried.
so cool.
They put in contacts. No one could blink, and they cried, and it was terrible.
I feel like that maybe would have made it. I was thinking about this, like Daenerys' platinum blonde hair and the purple eyes or whatever. It's like,
at what point is it like you look like a freaky elf person?
yeah,
from a
I was
fantasy
like,
book?
this is a little bit like Power Ranger.
Like the blonde hair is already pushing it.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. The purple eyes, I was like, this is maybe not as mainstream.
But I mean, I'm gonna say they did try. They tried, and like this, the contacts wouldn't work. Like it was just they couldn't act because they were like watering their eyes. Again, Daenerys is much younger, 13. Does this make it weirder, better?
That made the stuff with her brother a lot weirder to me.
Oh yeah.
Like the weird incesty stuff was a little bit more creepy to me than it was.
Not that it.
I went back and forth from like imagining Daenerys as we know her on the show, where she's clearly more grown, and then I was like, oh wait, she's 13 in this. This is maybe let's not do this. But
I'm curious to see if like you stop picturing them as the people from the show as you go on reading. I have no idea.
I think I'm going to be doing that like the Unsullied, and I kind of know what they look like, and even Jorah. I mean, I know what Jorah looks like, but it kind of some of these backgroundy characters, not the main cast, not the Mount Rushmore of our characters, are kind of going back and forth between like the descriptions in the book and what I know in the show, which is, a weird blending of the two.
Jorah's uglier in the book. There's just no other way of saying it.
Maybe that's why I was
picturing
picturing
him as
him
like
more
bald
than,
and kind of like over the hill. And like Ian Glenn's a handsome dude, so like one of the things in the show is like, well, why wouldn't Daenerys go for? Well, no, because then she's like 25-year age gap. But there's some differences. We'll get into more of them next week with the next Ned chapter and the first Jon Snow chapter. Hope you guys join us. Ooh, any reason to reread? Good, Jennifer. I recommend that you join us and reread them with us.
Yes, Jennifer, read.
Oh, and Julie is reading along with us. That's great.
Yes, all right.
Okay, so next week is Ned and Jon Snow 1. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.